What's good, sports gamers? And today I'll be sharing with you some tips and tricks you must know playing Madden NFL 25. I'm Chris from Sports Gamers Online, and alright, let's get it. In Madden 25, you're now able to do a manual spec catch by pressing L1 on PlayStation or LB on Xbox to attempt a spectacular catch animation. This new feature offers the high reward of wild grabs, but the risk of dropping a wide open catch because you did so. Now you can even combine the manual spec catch with a possession catch so they dive to the ground immediately after by holding L1 and X or LB and A at the same time for him to perform this maneuver. When running a basic read option, you're way more likely to break a big one when the defense is showing one deep safety instead of two, as it makes it harder for the offense to block this defender when they're in too deep due to the clean angle he has on the quarterback if he pulls the ball. Madden 25 has changed how the read option works. If you're coming from older versions of Madden, unlike before, you now need to press A or X on your controller to keep the ball with the quarterback. If you've been successful running read options in the past, you will adapt to the change very fast, don't worry. While running read options, always approach it with the intention of handing the ball off to simplify your decision making. If you see the defender with the R above his head, freeze, you don't have to touch anything and let the quarterback give the ball to the back. Now if he starts to crash down is when you want to hit A or X to pull the ball from the running back's pocket. When passing the ball, most of your throws should involve you pass leading the pass in a certain direction. For those unfamiliar, pass leading lets you place the pass in different spots within the throw's region that essentially lets you keep the ball away from the defender and where only your receiver can get to it. And by region, I mean the biggest circle area around the receiver telling you where the ball can go. All you have to do is aim the left stick in a given direction while throwing a pass, ideally as far away from the defender as possible. You see, on this pass, I aimed it behind the receiver, so the cornerback basically will have to go through him to defend the pass. Pass leading down is a great way to protect the receiver from getting hit and letting them go up and get it. Where you pass lead can slow down the receiver or have them use all of their speed to get to the ball and ultimately best protect them from wherever the defender is coming from. In certain spots, the high pass will become your best friend in completing a throw. You hold LB or L1 on your controller while you do it, it will increase the arc of the throw and increase your chances of coming down with the pass. This is very beneficial on passes down the middle. Because of the high arc, it will sail over their head, and if you're not careful, over yours as well if you don't hit triangle or Y on your controller to perform an aggressive catch to grab it out of the air. When rolling outside the pocket and nobody is open, your last chance of making something happen is trying to playmaker one of your receivers into open space. To do so, you flick the right stick in a given direction, telling the receiver closest to you to move into that spot. Usually either telling them to move to the right with you or go up the field, potentially creating game-changing plays because of this. A new feature in both football video games this year is the ability to adjust the stems on your routes, which is the route your receiver takes before he makes his final break. Let's take the basic receiver's hot routes. By hitting triangle and then the receiver's icon and then flicking the left stick to the left, I've just called a speed out. Then by hitting triangle and then the receiver's icon again, and then holding L1 or LB, I've accessed the custom stem. And with the left stick, you can adjust how short or how far you want the receiver to go before he makes his break. You can't do them for every route, as some routes don't have any breaks in it to adjust, like a fade route, for example. But curls, in routes, posts, corner routes, which end up looking a bit funky when you extend them past 20 yards, and comeback routes are all adjustable as far as the basic receiver hot routes go. A basic passing rule is unless that dude is wide open with nobody within 10 yards pre-snap, you're always going to want to have at least two receivers in your head that you want to check on each passing play to see if they're open or not. A lot of dangers can happen when you lock in on just one guy pre-snap or during the development of a play. It can honestly blind you to what the defense is doing. You don't want that. Now, don't take for granted that you can see what your opponent just called against you, especially if your opponent just had success with it and think they found a play. It's time to dissect it and destroy it. Okay, you're blitzing a slot and the opposite safety's dropping into a hook. Time to run 4 verticals on a blitzing nickel corner side until you get out of that play. Actually aim to eliminate these plays from their playbook. Building off of my last point, if they called something last time, and regardless if they stopped you or not, run it again. If it was successful, make them prove to you that they can stop it before you get out of it. And if they did stop it again, make them prove to you it wasn't a fluke. On top of that, they might change their defensive coverage, anticipating you won't run that play again, and bam, all of a sudden, it's open now. In the game settings under kicking, you can choose the type of meter you want to use and how to execute it. You have 2 options to play with, the college football 25-esque meter and the classic Madden meter. The multi is a 2-part meter where you lock in accuracy on the left-right meter, and this meter will swing faster the further you are attempting to kick. And the power is the up and down one, where you want to lock it in as close to the max power as possible, or else you increase the risk of shanking it. And the classic Madden meter is the traditional swinging meter where you stop the power at the top and the accuracy at the bottom. You can also choose how to execute each meter. The tap and tap method requires you to press the button twice to stop the accuracy and then power. Then there's the tap and hold method, which locks in accuracy with a single tap, and you let go to lock in the power. During a game, if you're a user who only selects like 5 to 6 plays throughout the whole game, you can help yourself out and save a lot of time by favoriting those plays by double tapping square, triangle, or X if you're on PlayStation on the plays you want to select to add to your favorites. So then you just go on over to your favorite plays menu and they are all there. The biggest change to defense on Madden 25 is the introduction of the switch stick, which lets you switch between players during the play, so you can actually cover the whole field on a given play. To do so, flick the right stick towards the player you want to take control of to switch to them. You want to target defenders whose areas are being threatened or ideally about to be threatened, because this is where you can get your interceptions, as your opponent will be on their way to pressing that button while you're stepping in the passing lane. Now, if you get caught on a defensive lineman, the switch stick is also here to save the day. So to switch to a specific non-lineman, just aim your left stick at who you want to switch to while hitting the B or circle button on your controller. Now, this also applies to anybody who you control that has a blitz assignment, as you're not able to switch stick regularly with them as the game treats them like a pass rusher. If your opponent is rolling out of the pocket, all you have to do is click in your right stick to send any immediate zone defenders at the quarterback to rush them and hopefully get a sack or create an incomplete pass. If you're struggling against the inside run, one way to help yourself out is by run blitzing it. So have your inside linebackers blitz to plug up the holes the back has up the middle immediately. One of the biggest advantages you have on defense is being able to use and control defenders, and as a result, be able to not be predictable in your movements like the computer could be, which can really mess stuff up for the offense. So the moment you even dare get on that defensive line, you're immediately giving that up. The amount of havoc you can cause by user covering receivers yourself, especially with the now ability to switch defenders mid-play, the ceiling is too high to be trying to bull rush with my right guard, y'all. Now, if you're unsure of using a linebacker against a passing offense, I heard this on a podcast once that if you're unsure about something, be unsure about it while going fast or something to that effect. Basically, don't hesitate. Commit to a receiver and commit hard if you're unsure, instead of being unsure of both and covering nobody. One hard truth we all learn throughout a game of Madden and still somewhat believe the opposite of is never trust the computer to do any of your dirty work. You think they will have that route covered or chase that running back? Nope. They will probably do the worst possible of whatever is necessary. Get in the habit as much as possible of putting as much control of the outcomes of the plays in your own hands, because the computer will literally act like they don't even see the ball at the worst possible moment. When you select the defensive coverage, ask yourself, can they attack the weakness of this by what they've shown so far, and what adjustments you will make when they do. This guy likes to throw seams to the slot against cover 3. I can control that defender or safety on that side and user, or be ready to switch to cover 4 if he starts attacking. Also new this year, you can disguise your shell coverage on defense. To understand that, if you've played Madden for a while, you can tell a lot of the time what the coverage is by how the secondary is lined up relative to where your receivers are. Everybody knows the "oh, he's about to blitz me" look instantly, right? Well, you can have that same look by changing your shell to cover 0, but you're actually running a cover 2. Wild stuff. So if you like to use the same play on defense, you can hide it a bit now by making it look like a bunch of other stuff pre-snap, with just changing your shell each time. Or even setting your opponent up by changing your next play to the shell of your previous one, by calling something that's strength is that coverage's weakness to get them to throw something they wouldn't have otherwise. On top of being able to see their play, if your opponent got hit while they were about to pass or got sacked just beforehand, take note of the route they had cooked up, because they will probably go right back to it if they stay in that formation if they had somebody open. You may get a free gift just by being aware of that. In your defensive play call screen, by clicking in your right stick, you can access your coaching adjustments, where at the bottom you can fine-tune your zone coverage depths for your defenders in the flat, curl, and hook zones. These adjustments dictate how far your defenders will drop back into their assigned zones, allowing you to be way more fluid in your strategies. Now, there are 3 different assignments under each umbrella that do react differently to routes, even with the same zone drop, which I'll go over more in depth in my next video. Now, if you're getting no huddle, to reset back to default, you can reset the play or play stick coverage by hitting triangle and then L1 on your controller to have everybody drop to the first down marker. So alright, sports gamers, I hope this video was able to help you out. And if you like the content we provide, make sure to subscribe to Sports Gamers Online for more Madden 25 content. And once you're with us, hit that bell icon at the bottom so you don't miss anything we put out. Alright people, I'm Chris. Thank you all for watching, and be good, y'all.